For first-time users or on a new iPad or device, can you tell me about the best way to configure and set up the Director Pad app?
Absolutely, and that is a very smart thing to do. You should only have to do it once and then go back for tweaking it. But the first thing you want to do is access the settings menu by just touching on the top left hamburger menu there. And almost to the bottom, settings. All right, so here we have a list of technical confusing things I'll try to make some sense of. The first item is the network ID. A network ID is a number that has to be consistent between your Director Pad and any of your Cinamaker capture apps. As long as you set that number to the same number on your capture apps and within here, the devices will find each other and connect. Next item on the list, very exciting, is transition duration. This is how long that your transitions when you're switching from camera to camera will last on the screen. 0.2 of a second is a nice, quick, speedy one. You can experiment between there and a half a second. Next one on the list, transition type, allows you to select from various different things from dissolve and minify, slide down. Dissolve and cuts are the most common. You probably wouldn't need to do anything else. Save stream to file is by default it stays on. What that does is make sure that after you do a live stream or a live edit, your file gets saved onto the iPad. This is disconnecting the app from any integrations you may have done. So you'll connect to YouTube or Facebook when you want to do your live streaming, and you can connect to Dropbox just the same. AirPlay audio playback really just routes the audio from the system to an AirPlay. If you have an external monitor you're using, that's when you want to turn that on. Stream splash images. If your camera goes out for any reason, you lose a camera, it's going to go ahead and put that on there. Or before your camera comes online, you can change that image out. That's just a standard one there. Keyboard shortcuts are really nice. This allows you to, from a iPad keyboard, USB keyboard, go ahead and customize that to be able to change the camera angle, turning on and off graphics objects, getting access to your audio sources, turning your headphones on and off. And then you can just set those all up custom there. Unregistered device from service is if you are changing iPads, you upgrade, you get a new one, you're going to want to unregister this one and register your new one because you're only allowed to have one copy running at a time. Last thing here, advanced settings. Most people don't really need to go here, but those of you who are more technically oriented, you're going to appreciate this. Video latency is the amount of delay that is introduced between when the cameras are sending the signal to the iPad. So in order to manage all of our synchronization, we have to introduce a little bit of it. And 0.2 of a second is about as fast as you want to go, and you want to do that on an Ethernet network. If you're using Wi-Fi and you're getting interference, you want to get closer to a half a second. You shouldn't have to make any more of a delay. Default video bit rate for live streaming, 3 megabits is more than enough. So if you're just going to YouTube, Facebook, so forth. If you are doing some more higher quality video work and editing, you may want to raise that up to 8 or 10, but you can go as high as 25. But you only want to use the higher video bit rates if you're on a high-speed Ethernet network. Wired Ethernet mode is going away, doesn't belong there. Your YouTube and Facebook privacy are your default settings for when you go live on YouTube or Facebook on who you want to see that. YouTube here, you can make it public, private, unlisted. Facebook, friends of friends, all your friends, or just to yourself if you're doing testing. Agora mode is going away for the moment. And yeah, that's about it. You just want to make sure that you've got your dissolve set, you're recording all your videos, and then if you're on a high-speed network, you can play with the video latency and pull it in. Any questions about settings?
Are the defaults normally set to a standard iPad setup, or how is the default normally?
We try to configure it where it works for the most people at once. 3 megabit bit rate is, the bit rate's the only thing that's a real consideration. 3 megabit works really well with Wi-Fi, and it's perfect for live streaming, so that's the one that you may want to change if you're doing higher quality video, but otherwise, you're good.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Certainly.